Hey friends, and welcome back to a new video dedicated to Garten of Banban 9. Chapter 9 was announced a few weeks ago, and that, without a doubt, will continue to fuel the curiosity of all fans. Today, we are going to talk about a character who from the very beginning had a fundamental role and who over time has become a true symbol of the entire series. I'm talking about Jumbo Josh. Many are wondering, what happened to this character? Where did he go after the events of the previous chapters? And above all, what will his role be in this new episode that will arrive in the future? In this video, we will try to answer these questions by connecting the pieces of the puzzle and trying to make sense of what we have seen so far. But that's not all, because there will be a very interesting connection with the second teaser trailer, which should arrive towards the end of October. Yes, you heard that right. A teaser that will probably give us more clues not only about the plot, but maybe also about the fate of Jumbo Josh and what we can expect from the new chapter. And there's more! In this video, we will also connect to some official messages written directly by FARIS, one of the developers of the Euphoric Brothers, who specifically mentioned Jumbo Josh. We will analyze his words together and try to understand if behind those messages there is a hidden clue about the future of the series. So get ready, because today's analysis will be full of details, theories, and connections that could completely change our vision of Garten of Banban 9. Now let's talk about him, Jumbo Josh, one of the most iconic and mysterious characters of the entire saga. First of all, let's make a quick recap of the recent events that involved him, because his path has been truly complex and full of twists. At the end of Chapter 7, Jumbo Josh bit the Queen's scepter, an object that, as we know, is not just a simple stick, but a powerful artifact capable of unleashing an extraordinary energy. In fact, as soon as Jumbo Josh bit it, the scepter literally exploded, releasing a surge of power that destabilized everything around. This scene made us understand how dangerous it is to play with such an object. And yet, despite the devastating power of the explosion, Jumbo Josh managed to survive. Of course, not without consequences. The character appeared severely weakened, showing that this energy left deep wounds on him, both physical and maybe even inner ones. And precisely for this reason, when we arrive at Chapter 8, we find him in a completely different condition from what we were used to. Jumbo Josh is no longer the imposing and feared creature we knew, but we see him locked up in prison, lying on the ground, practically motionless. A scene that left all the players holding their breath, because we were not used to seeing him so vulnerable. Syringian took advantage of Jumbo Josh's weakness to lock him up and keep him away from the main events. And it's exactly from that moment that things become even more mysterious, because after our escape from prison, we never met him again. No trace, no clue, no explanation about where he is or what happened to him after those events. And here comes the big question everyone is asking. What happened to Jumbo Josh? Is he still alive somewhere, imprisoned by Syringian? Or did the energy of the scepter have irreversible consequences on him? Could he even have transformed into something different, into a creature we will not immediately recognize? Now let's begin with the theories connected to Jumbo Josh, because this character, even though he was put aside in Chapter 8, might still have a huge role in the future of the saga. After the dramatic episode with the Queen's scepter, his appearance has changed significantly. He is no longer the green giant we once knew, seemingly invulnerable, but instead, he carries clear signs of what he has been through. We see him with deep wounds and, even stranger and more disturbing, some parts of his body have turned purple. And here comes the first big question. What is this purple color really? Could it simply be a superficial effect caused by the explosion of the scepter, like a kind of burn or external alteration, which doesn't change his true nature but only marks his physical appearance? Or, and this is the most intriguing theory, could it be a real mutation inside of him, a genetic or energetic change that has transformed Jumbo Josh from within, forever altering his essence? What we do know for sure is that despite everything, Jumbo Josh is still alive. In Chapter 8, we find him in prison, lying on the ground and apparently powerless, but there were no events that damaged him further. This leads us to think that even though he is weakened, Jumbo Josh is far from being a finished character. In fact, the very decision by the Euphoric Brothers to show him alive but imprisoned and not eliminated completely could be a strong hint about his possible return in the upcoming chapters. And this is where some fascinating theories are born. The first possibility is that Jumbo Josh will come back in Chapter 9, more energetic and determined than ever. Maybe the explosion of the scepter didn't just weaken him, but also transferred part of its power to him, which could slowly awaken inside him. Imagine a Jumbo Josh able to control part of the scepter's energy, becoming an even greater and more challenging creature to face. Another theory instead suggests that the purple color is the signal of an uncontrollable mutation. The energy of the scepter might have triggered the process of change in his body, turning him into a completely new version of himself, almost unrecognizable. This could make him not only stronger, but also more unstable and unpredictable, placing him in a condition halfway between an ally and a threat to the protagonist. And what if Syringion decided to imprison him for this very reason? Maybe he knew Jumbo Josh was changing and wanted to keep him under control until the transformation was complete. In this case, his return in Chapter 9 could be absolutely spectacular. We might witness an incredible escape or a shocking moment where Jumbo Josh reappears in a new form, completely surprising the players. In any case, everything suggests that the fate of Jumbo Josh is far from over. The marks on his body, the imprisonment, and above all the mystery left hanging by the developers all point in the same direction. There will be a return, and it will be a return with a massive impact on the story of Garten of Banban. Now let's connect with a really interesting detail, the messages written directly by FARIS, one of the creators of the game. In the last hours, in fact, FARIS mentioned Jumbo Josh several times on Discord. And here comes the big question, why did he decide to do that? Was it just a casual comment, maybe a way to joke with the community, or is there a hidden clue about the future of the series behind those words? We must not forget that when the Euphoric brothers write messages that seem light or ironic, very often there is a second meaning behind them. It wouldn't be the first time they drop small hidden hints inside posts, images, or phrases that only later turn out to be connected to the events of the game. For this reason, the fact that FARIS mentioned Jumbo Josh several times should not be underestimated. As we already saw in the previous video, the developers are working on the next episode of the Banban Chronicles. And here comes the theory. Could it be that Jumbo Josh will be the protagonist of the next episode of this video series? It could be a way to show us a piece of the story we haven't seen yet, maybe revealing what happened to the character right after the events of Chapter 8, when we left him imprisoned. It would be a perfect chance to clear some mysteries and give more context to his future role in the main storyline. But that's not all, because FARIS's messages could also be directly connected to Chapter 9. If, as we have speculated, Jumbo Josh is still alive, then there is a real possibility that he might appear in this new episode. We must not forget that the second teaser trailer should arrive around the end of October, and it would not be surprising at all if Jumbo Josh made a short appearance in it, maybe with the new look marked by the explosion of the scepter or even showing signs of a possible mutation. And here comes another crucial detail. Jumbo Josh appears in one of the official images of Garten of Banban 9 already published on Steam. This means that the developers want to keep him fresh in the community's mind, and they probably have an important role in store for him. He hasn't been forgotten, he hasn't been put aside forever. On the contrary, his official presence confirms that he will still have an impact on the story. All these signals together, FARIS's messages, the Steam image, and the connection with the October teaser, make us think that Jumbo Josh is a central piece of the future of Banban. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You are amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.